weekly wrap up, right? 10:16 to 10:21. Just take a quick second here to tell you that today is my son Matthew, who's 3 years old today. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, little man. Not that you're watching, and if you are watching, good. I'm glad you're trading, taking after the old man. But I'm very, very lucky, as I was saying. This is episode 241. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hopefully, you're having a great week. We had the best week ever. Ever. I mean, what a great time. Let's get into it. I've been doing these quite a bit lately because I find that if I spend so much time prior to a webinar calculating the information, showing how it's done and all that stuff, I can just quickly do it while we got the webinar up and save that process. So let's get jumping right in and looking at the process for this week. We're going to be talking about the DEX indicators too, and about making a journal. A little bit about all of it today. I also want to show you some confirming methods today. I forgot to put that on there. Confirm methods. Confirm methods to be able to trade some of the signals in an advanced state. You ready for that? I hope so. Let's get started. But before we do, guess what? Yeah. It's earnings and risk disclaimer time. Educational trade assistance only, and all results may vary. Pause the video if you want. But we're moving on. Okay, let's talk about what's going on this week. What has happened this past week has been so awesome. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I truly am, but let's give it a shot. Oops. It always does this to me because right at 12 o'clock, all those signals start coming out and closing. There we go. Okay, so the past week had some little tight news here and there, but not too bad. Let me see. Did I put it on the right screen yet? But I got to go get another account on here. New spreadsheet, so we can have that in there. Okay, there we go. So we didn't really have a tremendous amount of losses, but we did pretty good. So looking back to the 16th, I'm going to go to the next page. There's the 14th. There's the 16th. We go from the bottom. I go up the page. Yay. Go to the page. I right click, copy. And put that in there just like that. That's simple. And then go back to DEX. Scroll over to the first page. Now this page I'm going to grab everything on and scroll up. Oop. So what happens when you're not paying attention. I'm sorry. Scroll from the bottom and scroll up. There we go. Just to right there. Right click, copy. And right click, paste. There we go. Now I'll go to column H and sort alphabetical order. Okay, I'll sort alphabetical order. There we go, which will give me the minus in the direction. This will tell us how many losses. We had 10 losses. So we'll put that right here, 10 losses. And how many trades did we do? 179. So we had 179 trade signals, 169 on the wins and 10 on the losses, which is a beautiful 169 divided by 179 equals 94.4%. 94.4%. Not too shabby. Still way above. Looks like we had the Audi JPY was the big loser this week with as many losses in there. Euro USD looks like it only had one. USD JP or CAD only had one. I think we don't have a British Gold Pound USD, so it could be our supreme winner of the week of awesomeness. That no losses on British Gold Pound USD. Let's go down and have a look here. British Gold Pound JPY had a loss. There it is, British Gold Pound USD. Not a single loss in there. Not too shabby. Some good choke up opportunities in there too. 20 pips up. So looking pretty nice in there. USD CHF, yeah, everything else had a loss. At least one loss. Euro USD, Euro JP. No, Euro JPY as well. Look at that. And yep. So those two, Euro JPY and British pound USD, both have 100% week this week. That is awesome. You guys see that? That is sweet. Okay, so why is that so important? Because if you just traded that for next week, you got a great opportunity to win every single one you put in. Let's also now go back and isolate that variable again. Give me all these. Go to the up to the 20 points, 61. Okay, so 179, 61 divided by 179. Pretty good, a 34% fill rate. So we could probably add another 5 points onto that, about 39% fill rate. The reason being is got a lot of these trades, anything that's under 20 pips filled. So if you got, you might have had some in here that had a real big dip down and then a takeoff. So you might have had some in here. So we add another 5% for error from that point. So about 39% fill rate, right? Let's see here. From that point, so 21. Depending on the time frame that you choose, the biggest time frame loser here was 2,300 hours and 11 o'clock. they're both tied for loss. So if you took every other one, but if you trade those times, those times usually have the most news and stuff into it, right? Which could affect the parameter of the process, right? So we don't know what the news error of that solution is. Later on, when we got the news and the FFCM news process on board, then we can start seeing which ones get affected with the news and how many pips and all that kind of good stuff, and start curtailing that information. We're going to be collecting a lot of data now that we have our signs, our signature on paper for the API, and we're ready to start once we get our programmer back on board and helping me do the right thing, then we'll be able to get all that information. All right. That's basically the week. 94.4% on the process. I'm not really concerned about any of the other signals. All of them have about the same kind of tonality of, what are you doing now to seize your signal? What time frame are you going after, right? These are questions you have to ask yourself. And let's talk about that for a second. If you're here on the wrap up today, or you're watching this after the fact, and you're like, well, I don't have that success. I'm only 80% or 85%, or maybe you haven't traded yet, or maybe something's happening. You're not making the money that you want to make. We have to ask that question, why? What's actually happening? If you start out the statement at all like, well, the signals, it's not the signals. I can tell you that right now. I'm not trying to be harsh to any of you. I see some trusted people you're all trusted people in that network in there. Okay, your customers. But you have to ask yourself, are you setting your time down correctly? Are you choosing the right time? Okay. And when the signal's coming over, are you confirming them for that direction? If you're doing just a working order, then don't, just ignore this. If you're just doing a working order and taking your opportunities, okay? If you're taking your opportunities and just choosing your working order and set and forget it and getting your $20 to $22 per each one, you're going to fill maybe 30 in a week. Okay. There was shown that if you were doing every single one, but you're not. So if you're putting the working orders on and you're doing only 1 or 2 sessions, or even just one session, you might fill about 10 trades a week. And out of those 10, you might lose 1. Okay. So you might have about 4 winning trades that'll put you in a positive ROI. Okay, because that's after the one pays back the others. That's positive. That's the plan. This system isn't designed for you to sit down and push one button and make $50,000. Who here is working for it? Who here is trying to make it happen? I can look and see Brian. I know Michael Sr. is. I know there's a handful of other people that are in Paul, Thor. You're all out to capture and look at the work that you do. Mike L., look at the work that you do. Now you just have to sort of concentrate on what is your main direction and goal. Where's your destination at? Where are you getting to? Yeah, Michael says no what? No fast cars and big houses. Well, yeah, you can still get that, but you're gonna have to work your ass off to do it. I work my ass off and I don't have big cars and well, I have two houses and I could buy big cars, but I don't drive, so why should I? All right. So let's get serious for a second. What are you doing to confirm the signal? What are you doing to confirm the direction? Maybe using the support and resistance on a chart. Are you using a chart? If you're not setting working orders, what are you doing to become progressive now? Are you doing choke ups? Okay. Where you get the signal and you say, okay, well, the previous 20 trades did, an average of about 34 pips. So I know I can come up at least 20 pips and come up to another strike and get myself in a better money. Are you using the spreadsheet, as we always talk about, using the spreadsheet? No? Are you using support and resistance? Maybe an EMA? A stochastic? Christ, even a MACD? No? Anybody? Is anybody trading the dailies that's in the room right now? Okay. And in trading the dailies, Luke, the process of confirming, anytime, because even if you're making your own signal, right? Even if you're doing 5-minute trades, you're following a process. There is an act of discipline to it. Even with dailies, it's slow, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4 part of a flow that you're getting into, right? Signal, flow 1, signal comes out, right? What's the first thing you do? What's rule number 1 with all signals? Who can give that to me in the room in there? News. Check news. Luke, you're right on board, man. You are like quick as a whip. News. Check news. All right. Daily signal comes out. We're talking about the daily. Okay. If you're not putting a working order on it, okay, if you're not a working order person, what's the second thing you do? Because with the working order person, you just go straight to the site and put a working order and walk away. Done. Put it right at that number and walk away. Once you check the news, you put the working order on and your job is done. But if you're not working order, what do you do? Top-down analysis is pretty good. Yeah, top-down looks pretty good, right? And you do a top-down analysis, you could do that on the chart, but if you're going to be doing a choke up, Thor got it right there, you want to check pips, right? If you're using the spreadsheet, if you're a spreadsheet person, if you like to use a spreadsheet, if you're not using anything else, check the pips. So now you're checking the spreadsheet, you're checking the pips to see how many that you could do a choke up. Is it 20? Is it 30? Is it 40? What can you come up on? Step 2, if you're not using a spreadsheet, okay, this is step 2 if you're using spreadsheets. Step 2 if you're using SR is then you go and you check support and resistance. Okay. And this is where the job ends at that point, other than going to 3, which is basically profit, right? What is a good profit number to stay at? Always and above. That's not Thor's 20-minute. Luke says 50, but that's damn hard, buddy. If you're at $50, you're at the money and you're left or right of a trade. And it's very, very difficult. 20 to $22. Yeah, right into that point. Yeah, Luke, but at 50%, bud, if you're at $50 per contract you are 50% chance of winning or losing from that process, no matter what system you use. The moment that you get into a 50-50 trade, you might as well just flip a coin and go to the gambling house and put it all on black or red. So the correct answer that we're looking for, the answer that it's really 20 to 20 or 78, right, depending on which direction it is, but we're looking for profit margin. So profit margin on a buy or sell is still the same, whether or not you do a sell for 22 or do a buy for 878. Okay, 20 to, and some people say, up to about $30, right? $35 maybe at the most, right? You kind of want to be at the profit margin right around there, because right about 36, 35, 37, you're starting to flip and you're getting to what we call at the money, right? You're getting to ATM. So you want to kind of avoid that, because now you're starting to more like 40, 60, right? So you want to kind of stay at that profit margin. So you want to be a good profit, right? You want to be at nice profit. You don't want to be going, oh, I got it for $15 or I got it for 12, or, and you got a lot of trades going out, right? Keep that in mind. So we're talking about steps here. So we got steps 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And you got that on a nice little flow sheet. You've checked the news, you've done your SR, you've gotten, you've confirmed that level, and now you've gotten your profit margin. Now the trade's on. Now the trade is hot and heavy, right? And now, depending if you're a scalper or a set and forget, right? Depending on what happens with the trade now, you start to wander into a different type of world. If you're a scalper, what's a number that you're looking for the system to get to, for the profit margin to get to before you scalp out? It's a percentage. Anything green, Paul says. That's what I used to teach you guys. Remember that at the very beginning? The moment it turns green, grab it. About 60 to 75%. That's correct that it should be pretty high, but I would say anything over 50%, your fingers should be twitching if you're a scalper. I know I've looked at it with $1 on it and going, man, it's green. I want my money. Right? At that time, if it starts hitting over 50%, you got to start looking at that process. Now, if you're doing it on dailies, listen, scalping on dailies, man, if you on daily, I wouldn't even touch it for 50%. I would stay, because the ability of the choke up. I mean, if you're doing a choke, if you choke up, right? If you're doing a working order, don't scalp. But if you're doing a choke up and you've choked into the money enough to where you've got it like really close, 50% is perfect. 50%, 60% right in that point, right? You could set yourself a take profit in there and just walk away, because you know if it's going to hit, it's going to hit it, right? And be done. And then that becomes your algorithm. That becomes your process. If you don't know how to set a take profit in there, go watch the process on how to set a take profit in Nadex Ninja. And it'll show you how to do that. Remember, you always have to sell more than you buy for, right? Keep that in mind. You sell more and you buy for less. Sell more, buy less. Sell more, buy less. So that means that if you get into a trade and you have gotten in on the sell side, right? And I've sold in for $22 and I want to make 50% profit, what do I put my buy ticket in for? Surprise for the person who gets it. Yay, Luke. Sweet. $11. Okay. $11. Right? You put your buy ticket in for $11. Okay. I'll tell you what your prize is at the end. If you did a buy order in and you got it for $78, what's your sell ticket for when you're trying to do 50% profit? Ooh, People's heads burning. 89. There you go. Sweet, Luke. You want them both. Quick on the trigger. Perfect. So, cook hand Luke. Cool hand Luke. What we have here is failure to make money. All right. So if you're the scalper and you're on a choke up, if you've altered the working order, you're not really set and forget kind of process, you know. The set and forget kind of individual that does a choke up, yes, you're taking more of a risk. You have a little bit more risk involved because your money's not there. Scalper, the con to being a scalper is that if you do have a loss, because you're scalping out for 50% or a little bit more than that, it's going to take you more to recover. A lot more to recover than this person who's setting forgetting. But then there's sometimes that your trade that you scalp out might lose, and you're at least getting something. You're in a positive ROI from that point. But this person loses it all. What's the number difference? We don't know. Got to tell you, I would love to have the process center be able to figure that out. Once I get the API, like I keep screaming about, that process center is going to be huge because it'll crunch so much data, because it'll have close times, it'll have close price, it'll have how much it closed for, tickets availability, all of that. And I can then look at it and go, okay, when you set and forget, you make more money than if you scalp, or if you scalp, you make more money than you set and forget. The algorithms that I'm writing behind the scenes, all it needs is 2 keys to open it all up. It's sick. So one of the things for set and forget is that if you are doing that, make sure that you're choosing very safe and strong support and resistance areas. Make sure you're not pushing it to the limit. If you're pushing it to the limit, if it's 40 pips and you're pushing it forward to 40, you're really pushing to the limit. You better find a way to become a scalper at that point, because you're going to get up and down and maybe pierce, because you're not going to like it, especially if it's too close, right? So keep that in mind as you're setting your rules down, as you're building that process out, right? Well, Mike, sometimes chokes, all depending on how you're doing the chokes. Here's the problem with there's 2 types of chokes, right? There's a spreadsheet choke where you're looking at an average pip value, right? Right. The problem with this is that it's an average. It's of the last 20, 30, 40, 50 trades that are in there, right? So you're taking an average and you're looking at that average of 20 or so pips or 40 or so pips and saying, okay, well, it on average does this. But if you use a support and resistance level, you're taking that time of the now. Okay. So as it's coming through, right? And the strike is, let's say it's a call out for a strike, and it says it's up here, like maybe that strike's for a sell, and it comes out at this height, right? That's the line that it comes out at. You can say, okay, well, I have an SR level here. I have a I have a resistance level here, right? So even though that, this might be another pip level, right? This might be at 20 pips down from there. And this is another 20 pips, you see? And so even though that the system might say, has a 40 pip difference on the spreadsheet that, you sometimes goes over 40 pips, you can confirm that by 20 and 40 pips. That's what you're at right now, right? But what happens if actually the thing was down here, right? I'm always looking for one deviation away from my value, right? So on a support and resistance, if I choose this level, I have a good buffer right there, right? But if I choose, let's say if it was back to here some, if it's right around there, I'm choosing this. If I'm choosing this level right here, I'm choosing an opportunity for it to be going through. Now you might get a really good price right there, right? Or if you do choke up on using support and resistance, maybe you're putting a working order now here at that pip level, knowing that it touched it at one time, or whatever the case may be. Every case changes. You have to start making those assertions and learning how to do it in that fashion. You have to start feeling it, start seeing where it belongs. Now, these are on the dailies. Very slow, methodical decisions to make, and do so in a fashion that will protect your money. You drop down to an intraday, the range, becomes smaller. The amount of success becomes smaller. Intraday money moves faster. You get to the 2020s, it uses the EMA 20 to be able to broadcast over a certain hill. You're moving faster, you're scalping out your money. So if you're slow and methodical with the process, stay with dailies on the choke or the WOs. If you want to get into okay money and fast money, intradays and 2020s. If you're psychotic and really want to get into it, then you can be like the rest of us that are doing 5-minute binaries. I can't even do them. I'll be honest with you. I'm the owner of the company and I feel like I can't even do them because I go crazy watching that stuff. I got to turn it off. I got to absolutely walk away from the entire thing so I don't see it. Right? Because if the moment that I get in there and start watching that shit go up and down on that five, and if I got 5 contracts on it and it says minus $274 in there, and I'm like, I'm pacing, I'm like sharpening knives, I'm putting together my PSG sniper rifle from the closet. I'm like, I'm going after Nadex. What's going on here? You know? But then I see something. I see something that I become so overwhelmingly proud of, that this system was never, it was built for me, by me, but for other people as well. And when I see something like this happen, this is his second batch of 100. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to some of the stuff that's gone out with our friend Michael Senior here. But I got to tell you, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of everybody that's in this system that's doing this. It's crazy. Look at this. 20 and 0, 21 and 0. By the way, let's have a nice little conversation, Mr. Michael. You did the same stupid thing I did last night, and you're blaming it on me. You jumped off the bridge with me, so you're just as much as to blame. All right. So his only loss in the entire thing was because I did it as well. Now look at this. He gets down to 43 and 1. Holy crap. 44. Look at this. It's amazing. This is amazing, brother. 54, 50. Look at this. 58 and 1. A total of, for a 2-day period, the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, $5,866. Are you effing kidding me? But you did the same call I did. And before you believe like this guy's just a monster and nobody else can do that, other people are doing it as well. And guess what, folks? The same system works on 1-hour trades. Yeah. Not the same exact rules, but it works. And it worked on a daily as well. So it's there, it's real. Now, DEX indicators, some of you are part of the company, some of you have it, some of you don't. Some of you that are watching this after the fact, you want to get into it. Listen, I want you to be successful. I really do. We can't afford to give it away free to everybody. I wish we could. But what I can do is that if you want to get into it and maybe you don't have all the money you need to get into it and all that stuff, write us in chat. Work out some deals. Your traders, your business people, we can work with you. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. I want to earn your business. I want you to use those things. We'll transfer some time over, pause this account to go do the other, whatever we got to do. We want you to make this happen. We want you to work it. We want you to be using those strategies in that system. Using that DEX, wrong one there. Using that DEX system over there has just been so powerful. I can't even begin to tell you how Michael Sr. and the other people that are doing it, Paul and Amy and myself and Nayatik, and there's all these other people that are in there doing it, and they're sharing their results, and they're showing. Now they're not sharing the results just so they can get a big attaboy here, right? They're sharing the results because all that data goes into syncing out the process and making it extremely powerful, so I can utilize that to tweak the system, what's working, what's not working. Michael has proved that it works. I have proved that it works. Amy has proved. Paul has proved. Person after person after person after person has proved it. Once Michael starts to go live with that process of bringing on the level, of course, he's going to be going back down to one contract and starting from there and building up that account. But did you see what his one contract process did? Let me show you what one contract looks at a time. He did this in 3 days. Started on the 17th and ended on the 19th. Over a period of 3 days, did 98 and 2. With one contract and scalping, did $2,147.20 in 3 days. Can you imagine that? It's all possible. Because listen, I learned a long time ago, if one person can think it and another person can do it, then anyone can do it. It's all a matter of perseverance and discipline. Michael has been that person that has not only proven the system, but proven that hard work and determination does make something happen within the customer side. I've always sworn, Michael L., that yes, you're absolutely right that they are very rich in opportunity, but it's almost like cooking with fire. You can get a lot of benefit from it if you treat it right, respect it, and do them right. But the moment you start mishandling it, what happens? You get burnt to death. Right? So it's got to come down to something. You got to be ready to make that discipline happen. And that's what it all comes down to. Now, I was going to do the making a journal and getting into that process, but I have to tell you, some of this stuff is redundant. It's already in the training system on how to make it. I wanted to be able to show you that because we want to release a system that, share your trades with us and get to that next level. And we'll work about getting you into an elite process to start doing the process once you get to 100 trades. Mike L says down here, I can only do about a half an hour and then take a break. Yeah, I'm the same way. I can only do 3 or 4 of them and I'm done. I got to walk away. Because I sit and I watch it. Now, when I do them, I'm killing at them. I put my 4 square up. I got my other system. I can't even record anything when I do them. I was finding that I was getting killed when I was recording. And when the news is not there and it's all nice and quiet in my office, like I don't have anything else, I kill Facebook, I kill all the other stuff that's up there. I just it's the best hour when you turn around and you go, wait a minute, I just did $300 worth of trades in 5 minutes. I reached in and plucked out the money that I wanted to pluck out. I used to laugh. I was telling people when I first started, I was all about the 5-minute trade. Give me the 5 minutes because you can make a lot of money in 5 minutes. But as I started to do them, and your mind wavers, boom, 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 you start losing. And what happens when you start losing is like getting in a slump, man, you go downhill fast. So I pulled away, got nervous, got scared, got greedy, got revengeful. I did all of it. It's like the 12 steps process for me. And then I got into 1 hour trades and then daily trades. And I was like, that's more like it. Sit back, watch the market progress and digress and converge and diverge. And I just pick the market and do what I got to do. All right, there's my number. I'm going to make my money. But then I became impatient. Started looking for trades that weren't really there. I'm bored. I wish it was like a 10-minute trade that we could do. And I tried looking at the 20-minute trades, but they even confused me with the indices and all that stuff. I love Thor and I love his process, but I can't even do those either. Because with those, the sweat comes with just even a little bit more tension on the amount of per, but they're still good when you have a high rate of success. Yes, I am human. Yeah, I know. I seen that. I want to try to make something with Dan to go put that out. That if you put in $500 deposit, you get 3 days of trading. They've had that for a little while on a few things. I know one of our corporate accounts got like a year's worth of lack of process because we put like 10 grand in there. It's pretty funny. It was really awesome though. They are a great company for what they're doing, and I know it's tough because they're shrouded in a lot of speculation, but I've really started to see how well that they've, have to sort of back it down a little bit. And with the trials and tribulations they're going through with their market makers and stuff, it's very tough. You're right, Michael. You can't have that. I need to make money right now. If you're in this and your bread is not on your table, then you better not be in this. I had to tell somebody yesterday. It's very frustrating because the individual is a very smart individual. This is not about intelligence level. This is about determination. Okay. You don't need to have like some superhuman IQ to trade. And that's what all these other companies want you to think, that you're going to have to do it forever to figure it out. I pissed off one of our competitors last night, by the way. I kicked him out of one of our webinars. It wasn't very nice. I was a very bad person. But they snuck in and they tried to use email address from their own website system. And I thought, you know what? And then they used the name Dex, and I'm like, wait a minute, why would you do that, right? I'm like, why would you do that? You're gonna come in, you're gonna draw attention to yourself by using the name Dex. Okay, now I'm gonna check out who the hell you are, because who does that, And I find out it was one of our competitors. Now, why would you do that? Why are you even bothering us? Don't you have enough to do for yourself? It's okay. I've been in the competitors' websites, but not since I've opened up my own. I have a little bit moral ineptitude behind myself than my insecurities of my competition. We're looking to make a safe haven for people. We're not looking to battle or go to war. If there's another company out there that's like us that wants to help people, man, I'm all willing to share the light and promote them. I even told one of our competitors, very small new one that just came out, Pip Z, whatever it is, or iPip Z or something, right? Because he's like, we're the best in Nadex signals and blah, blah. And I said, well, congratulations. If you can create a good market. He goes, how do you deal with the phone calls? I was like, I just deal with them. People call, I talk. They listen. That's the way phones work. How do you deal with all the customer service? We just do. But people are skeptical. You got to deal with that. You got to listen to them. That's the big one. You got to listen to what they say. It's the same thing for you in trading. You got to listen to yourself. What's right, what's not. You got to be able to go through each one of your own emotions and deal with it. Slap that shit and greed right in the face and tell them no. I'm only doing one trade at a time. I'm only doing one contract. If I do 3 contracts, it's going to push my risk limit to the point where if I lose those 3 contracts, I lose half my balance. No, I'm not going to do that. One little church lady, kid you not, asked me last month, I only have $100. Can you help me trade to where I can make that money? And I had to tell her no, because that amount of pressure on me or anybody else is not good. Please put that $100 away, save it, earn at least $1,000 to $2,000 to go and put in, because literally, because we don't get any money from anybody for what we tell them to put in to Nadex or tell them to go to Nadex or anything. But let's be real. If you're not putting the bread on your table and you can only afford a certain amount, I get it, but this isn't for you then. It's like you saying, I want to go open up a restaurant, but I only got $5. I have $1,000 to go open up a 5-star restaurant. Sorry, your expectations outweigh reality. Now, some of you might be here with that intention, and that's okay, because what you have to do is once you recognize that, the one thing you need to do right now is train. Train, and the second thing you need to do is save. Save your money so you have at least $800 to be able to do one contract. And you wait for perfection. If you do anything else but a perfect trade, you are asking yourself for risk to ruin. And it'll happen fast, trust me. You want to know about chipping a chair? I've had customers say that they took $100 to 10,000. I've had customers tell me that they went and turned around and lost that same 10,000 the next month. Cockiness. You got to become disciplined in everything you do. If you don't, you're asking yourself for failure. Final thoughts, and this is a big one today. Our company is your company. I know that sounds kind of weird, right? I built this company with Amy and Brian, and now with everybody else, there's some handful of people in the room, Paul and Michael and Mike L. and Thor. I built this company with these people, but when I first started it, they weren't here. Paul was over in NBD and RBD and a few other things, and when we asked him to come over to help, he started coming over to help, and he proved himself. Michael proved himself. Mike proved himself. Thor proved himself. By following through what they say, by being understanding, by working with us, by being patient themselves, by really making it happen for them. And now look where Michael is. Look where Paul is. Look where Thor has become. They've taken ownership. So our company is your company. We want to make it the best in the world. And in order to do so, we need to show the world. And that comes from the sharing of the results, the making the systems perfect, the getting them so worked into the process. Now, by the way, perfection to me is not a non-losing, a full 100% winning program. You have to have losses in there. You can go 100 without losses, 200 maybe. But you get to 300, and I'm going to start questioning because I've never seen it before, even for myself. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but I know that it's there. Some people like to hide losses. I don't. I stand on top of them as a badge of honor because I've earned it. I'll see if I can hunt down the video of a $7,000 loss live in a webinar. $7,000. Painful night. I got a tear in my eye even thinking about it right now. Audi USD. Whew, I hate you. But it was cockiness. This was last year. It was cockiness. Had about 12 people on a webinar. Talk about cocky. Came back and bit me in the ass. Tim W, Paul. I think Paul was, I don't know if Paul was there, but Tim W was. So from then, we've made it. The network of DEX signals has paired off with DEX indicators. try to get into, if you really want to be successful in the 5-minute trade system, I'll try to get something worked out with you. Give us a yell. Let us know what you can do. We can work out some payments. We can work out whatever it is. But I want you to get in there. You have to get into that process. That is your goal. Train, and get that in. If you don't have money to trade, there's even other things that we can talk about later on. Getting you trained up to elite, getting you into the process so you can start trading. You know, we can even talk about pulling money together from other investors to get people in that are really showing that determination. But it has to be proven, right? You want to see proof? Here's proof. Not right there, sorry. Here's proof of somebody's hard work and determination and trust. Right? Here's the proof. Here's the proof. Here's the proof. Here's the proof. Okay? Here's the proof. That's where the hard work comes from. I've put in hundreds of thousands of hours into this, it feels like. Billions of dollars, it feels like, but really I put about $200,000 into this company. I've suffered. I've hurt. I've stayed up late. The time that's right before you right now as a customer of DEX or Our City is that right in front of you, you have an opportunity. Had a customer write me this morning and he showed me a screenshot of his chart. Why doesn't your indicator work with all these other indicators very well? I'm looking at his chart and he's got like 50 things on there. I was like, well, what are you using? There's so many lines. Why are there so many lines? Well, because you got 15 things on there prior to, well, I need all these for the system to work. Really? This person uses no other indicator on his system, and he does $5,300, and you're telling $5,800, sorry, and you're telling me that you're still doing it while you're doing a webinar? You punk. I swear to God, man. The guy's like a monster, man. You are a monster, Michael. You just can't stop, can you? Oh, man. You definitely got to take this on. That's awesome, dude. But that dude's, he's only using the system that we gave him. He ain't using a crystal ball or some other process, man. It's there. What do you need 50 things for? Stop hunting out the next shiny object. Strip it all back to those two things. Follow the rules. What do you have to lose? That's one thing. I was trying to ask this one customer about that yesterday, who was constantly asking me millions of questions, which is okay. I don't mind questions, but he wasn't listening to the answer. You know, but if I add on more, then I can even stripe it down. I'm giving you 98%. Who the hell needs to perfect that? Are you trying to push 99 and 100%? The training will help strip you of the loss, the fear of that loss. Michael said this to me the other day, Michael Sr., the one who's doing these trades. He said, I have done so many of these now, I've become numb to the loss. Paraphrasing, of course, which is true. You've built up that tenacity. You've built up that ability. And when you begin to perfect that process, you no longer fear it. That's what I have to do. I mean, I did my first 100 with no problem. Done. Then I put on 5 and I went, oh, wait, let's see here. I started to get to that thing. It's that number that hits me. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one loss. Right. My fault. But I got Murphy's Law standing on my back. Every time I go to do a webinar, I lose one on the webinar. It's like, really? I do 50 something in a row, then I get to the webinar and lose one. And once you're able to see that, you might be able to see, oh, that's that little ticket does. Oh, you figure out the market's tell, right? You absorb that information through micro information that happens to the system, right? You could see things happen with the market. You start feeling that process, and you start obtaining Yes, you are an expert now. In fact, you can change your name from senior to senior two. You've earned it. You are at that level with me and Paul and even Thor now. Yeah, calling a signal is much different than doing a signal. You could close your eyes and do a signal. Once you see it, it's 1, 2, 3 clicks. To call a signal, it's 1, 2, 3 clicks, confirm, write it, push the button to push it out there, grit your teeth a little bit, and then go in and put in a trade yourself, and you're around the block. Congratulations, Michael. You've earned every second of it. And soon you'll become partner. Oh, Thor, yeah, you're supposed to be senior two, buddy. Senior level two. You're calling trades, so you should have that by your name as well. So people that are in the chat room, you see these gentlemen around, you see these people around, congratulate them. They worked hard to where they've gotten to that distinction. It takes a lot of work to get there. And that ain't no doubt. You have to be prepared. Mike C., you're brand new. Luke, you're around for a while. Prash, I'm not sure of your history. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But if you're new, if you're just getting in, this is your destination. This is where you need to get to. Listen, what we've developed is bringing us this. And can you imagine this? Look at this number. Revel in this number. This is a real number that can be obtained, because if you could do it on demo, you could do it on live, you could do it in that process. It might take you some time to build it up. But even if you didn't do that, you could have done this with one contract. Even if you did half the work that he did at $1,100 in 3 days, it's about $300 a day. What does that turn into for you? 300 times 20 days a week. 300 times 20 days a week. $6,000 a month. How many of you could revel in $6,000 a month? Come on, let's get serious here. You want to talk about 2147 in 3 days? Times, let's see, 3 days. So divided by 3. It's about 715 a day. 715 times 20. 14 G's a month. Okay. Then it pops into, holy crap, I'm getting serious now. Right? He's not even done his 100 yet. But 3 days, 5867. It's about 1955 a day times 20. Can you guys see that number? Does my calculator show up? Okay. You guys seeing that? You guys can see that calculator, right? That's not a typo. That's a month. Yeah. Paul likes to call it your retirement money in a month. 2 months times 12. Wait, what? The time is now. Michael, you don't change a damn thing you're doing. Go straight live. Go to one contract a piece and just close your eyes and make it happen. Get through the first 10 trades. Make it happen. Grit your teeth and make it. Get to your 200th trade with a 5 in there. Get it down so you're doing it so quietly and so justfully. Then get into the one and just start going. Don't even stop. Bet you $20 you'll lose your first one. But hey, curse myself too. I'm at that point right now where I can definitely just sit down and go live, and I have no feeling against it one way or another. It just feels just like demo money. But you have to use it wisely. Those last 10 trades, those last 20 trades you're going to do in your 200, when you're doing just taking it to the money, taking it to the level. By the way, just so you guys know, and then I'll wrap it up here. These trades that were done with scalps in them on the 100, what was it, the 100, right? The ones all with scalps in them, all right? If he would have let every single one go, he only lost 2 other ones that he had scalped out. Okay. He'd only lost 2 other ones that he had scalped out. So if that's the case, he would have done 96-4, a 96% success rate. He has an average of $24 with scalping, an average of $24 a contract, even with scalping out. How much his actual amount is? Probably above $30 per contract. And having an average of $30 per contract right now is crazy. Because if you do that, 96 times 30, 2880. If you would have taken that, and then you minus the 4, he would have lost that $70. So he would have made $2,600 in 3 days doing one contract apiece. It's $866 a day. So when he gets to that point, and he's making close to $1,000 a day, easily raising that up to get to 5 contracts after a second and third week. What do you think is left from that point? If you can make $100,000 a year putting in 5, 6, 8 hours a day, can you imagine that? Really studying the market, making it work, not going crazy, but just abiding your time, being patient. How could you know? I hope I'm selling you guys on this concept. I'm not selling you about the program. I'm selling you on yourself, that you're here to make this work. Stand in front of it. Be disciplined. Make it work. Don't find what's wrong. Find what works. For fuck's sake, that's what we've done. We have found what works and what's real. If it's not working for you the same way, let's find out why not. Not riddled with excuse, but open-minded for solution. Are you ready? Good. I want you to take a weekend, go through all the training, get over the DEX indicators if you got to, get it bought up. If you can't afford it, let us know what you can afford. We'll work out deals. We'll do whatever we can, and we make it work. If you're more about the signals and you want the signals, let's find out why the signals aren't producing you a high level of income. Let's find out why. And remember, no excuse, just solution. Let's make it work. Be proud of yourselves. You all gotten to a level to be here, and now it's time. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. Everybody else, thank you so much. That's watching this after the fact. I can't thank you enough for taking that time out of your busy day. I hope you have a great week and trade well. By the way, if you do go over to DEX and you can afford the process, make sure you put in all capitals DEX save 50. Okay. To get $50 off your first month, it'll bring it down to $97, right? If you can afford the process right away. If you can't, just hit us up in chat, send us an email, and we'll get it onto that process. Everybody else in the chat room, hang out. We got some questions and answers going on. But everybody else that's watching this after the fact, thanks a lot for taking your time. Hope you have a great weekend. Trade well. I'm Max Farrell, and this is DEX Signals.